Hi friends and Israel fans, come and join me in another episode of Israel with Moshe. Before we start touring Caesarea, we're going to talk about all those different parts of Caesarea. A few words about this Roman city. This city was named after the Caesar, of course, after Augustus Caesar. It was built by King Herod the Great. And we'll talk about Herod the Great a bit later. But Herod the Great was a smart man, was a smart constructor. He had visions. And his vision was that he needs to have a port city right here in this location. Why in this location? Because when you look on the map, you understand that all the trade routes of ancient times used to come to the only port that existed here, the port in Jaffa. That port in Jaffa is an earlier port. It existed for 4,000 or 5,000 years. It's mentioned in the Bible. King Hiram from Tyre, from Lebanon, brought cedar trees to the port of Jaffa for Solomon to build his first temple in Jerusalem. Peter was in Jaffa before he came to Caesarea, so this was the port of the area, and people would use that port, but from that port they would walk up north, get more or less here in Caesarea, and then turn right so they could cross into the Armageddon Valley, because that's how the trade routes used to be. And Herod thought that if he's going to build a port city right here, people would prefer to use this port, because from here they can go straight into the Jezreel Valley and straight into the Armageddon Valley, and then from there the road would split and take them into Damascus or in Lebanon. So that sounds like a great idea, but this place had two major problems. One was that there's no water source in the area, and Herod solved that. We saw before the aqueduct, we spoke about the aqueduct and how Herod brought water from Mount Carmel 12 miles over 0.1% decline. And then he went, but the second problem of this place is that this place doesn't have any natural bay. And how can you have a port city without a natural bay? And here's where Herod was a genius and a master as a constructor, as a builder. He went into the Mediterranean Sea, brought wooden rafts, filled them with a special cement, special ashes that they brought from Rome that would touch the water and become like cement, sank them in the water, and on top of that built a deep water port, a deep port for the Roman boats. And this port was actually in use from Herod's time, 2,000 years ago. Throughout the Roman period, throughout the Crusader time, Crusaders used this port, and if it wouldn't be destroyed in 1265 by the Muslims, who decided to destroy all the ports that the Crusaders had on the Mediterranean Sea, this port would still be used today. Ever since this port was built, it became the main major port of this land, and the city built around it, Caesarea, named after the Caesar, after Augustus Caesar, was the capital city and the headquarters of the Romans in this area, in this province, in the Holy Land. So Jerusalem was important for the Jews. Jerusalem was the capital city for the Jews, but for the Romans, Caesarea was the important city. This is where Pontius Pilate, the Roman commissioner, we'll talk about him later, this is where he sat. This was his headquarters. 3 times a year he would move from here to the temple in Jerusalem, just to be over there when all people are going up to Jerusalem. This is why Pontius Pilate was on time to Jerusalem to sentence Jesus to be crucified. And this city was built as a Roman city, planned Roman city. 2 main streets, Sacardo from south to north, secondary Cardo from east to west. Around that, public buildings for the public use. A city of about 35,000 to 50,000 people. This is a major city, a big city. And if you understand that this is a big city, then of course when you're going to talk about the next event that happened here, which is Peter coming here and baptizing Cornelius, you understand that this Cornelius was a high-rank Roman officer in an elite troops in the capital city of the Romans here in Caesarea. So, planned Roman city, built in beautiful architecture, known all over the Roman world for the port that existed here, known for what Herod built here. We're going to go later and talk about the port. We're going to go and talk about the public buildings like the aqueducts. We'll talk about the Roman theater. But this is all part of Roman architecture, and this is all part of the period, Herodian period, the period of Herod the Great, from 36 BC till 4 BC. And we're going to have a whole episode about Herod the Great, on who he was and why he's considered one of the best kings that Jews had over the Roman period.